There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, perfect timing. Did Lindor go deep? Oh, to the warning track, just a little short. All right, well, there it is, guys. Welcome into the stream. The Mets taking on the Rays. We just got through the bottom of the third inning. It is a scoreless ball game. Each team with 2 hits to their credit. If you guys have not been in any of my streams before, I usually do post-game recaps, and I will be doing one after tonight's game for sure. But I figured we could do something like this during the game as well. I don't want to be rude or anything, but I just feel like the broadcast booth is lacking just a little bit for tonight's game. I won't say anything more than that, but definitely not as appealing as it normally is. So yeah, kind of a tough listen sometimes. That's all I'll say. But Mets and Rays, opening game of this series here tonight. The Mets, of course, are rolling 6 games in a row. So far, like I said, it's a 0-0 ball game, 2 hits apiece for these two teams. Taj Bradley working out of a little bit of a jam there in the first inning. 3 strikeouts, all 3 on that curveball, which we know is kind of what he's been heralded as, having a tremendous hook. And he got, I believe it was Soto looking. Lindor had a base hit, Nimmo swinging, and Pete Alonso swinging as well. So this Bradley kid's got some good stuff. The numbers aren't really there to back it all up. The ERA is somewhere like 4.5 or something like that, and it's always been around 4.5 for his first 3 years in his MLB career. But the stuff is definitely there. You have to trust that anytime the Rays are rolling out a young pitcher like this, that they, similar to what the Mets are now developing with their own pitching lab, have got the little secrets and things about each of their pitchers to make them more effective than most organizations can squeeze out of them. So I think this is going to be a tough matchup, but Clay Holmes is looking pretty solid too. First inning didn't have his best command, but it seems like he has settled in now. There was a nice catch by Tyrone Taylor in right center field, right going up against the wall that he made to get the final out of that inning. I mean, another day, another big play from Tyrone Taylor. What is new? You know, he's one of those guys, and we all kind of say it, like he will do things that don't really show up in the box score, but it seems like every day that Tyrone Taylor plays, he is doing something to help this team win ball games, whether it is making a tremendous catch in center field or stealing a couple bags or just using his speed to put pressure on the opposing pitchers and defense. Love Tyrone Taylor. Really interesting timing, too, because we heard about Jose Siri being shut down from baseball activities today, which to me was honestly a shock that Siri had even resumed them as quickly as he did. I mean, he literally broke his tibia fouling a ball off his shin. And within, it seemed like a month, he was already back at Citi Field, doing batting practice and stuff like that. So maybe he went a little too quickly, and that's what caused this setback for him to be shut down. But I think the Mets are in good hands, literally, with Tyrone Taylor in center field. Would it be nice to get Taylor? Oh no. That ball is not coming back. Aranda has left the yard. He hits a solo blast to right field, and this game is no longer scoreless. Jonathan Aranda with his 8th bomb of the year into the first deck of the Pepsi Porch Coca-Cola corner, as he takes the slow trot around the bases, and the Mets are trailing 1-0. So right as I was giving Clay Holmes credit, Aranda takes him deep on that one. And then the first pitch here to Caminero is clearly a strike, and of course the umpire blows the call there. Typical. I feel like MLB umpiring has been worse this year than it ever has been that I can remember in my life. Like, easy, clear strikes, clear balls just being missed. That one is right on the upper left-hand corner, the inside part of the plate to a righty. It's so annoying. I don't know how they could be this bad. It's almost like the umps know that the ABS system and robo-umps are coming in the next year or two, and they're like, so what? Whatever. I don't care. I could just be terrible. I'm going to lose my job anyway, be replaced by robots, so who even cares at this point? Don't try to be better at your craft or whatever. This is going to be, I think, a pretty tough series. Like, I'm not saying the Rays are world beaters, but they're a pretty solid team, 36-32, jockeying for second position with the Blue Jays and, fighting for first, of course, in the American League East with the Yankees, who are pretty far out ahead of the two of these teams. But, this is no Rockies. This is no Nationals. This is definitely a little bit of a step up in competition. So hopefully the Mets, are going to be ready for this and can get 2 out of 3 as this one is fouled down the right field line looking for a play as Alonso up by the railing and he runs out of room as he gets over the netting there for a foul ball. 1-2 on Caminero. I got to be honest. I'm just not really super fond of Steve Gelbs as a play-by-play guy. Like, I just don't get it. What's up, Nico? How you doing, my man? Good to have you in here. I'm doing well, dude. I just, don't really love Steve Gelbs on the play-by-play. I just got to be honest. And I figured, maybe there's a lot of people that have that same feeling as me and they wanted to come watch the game here as we do it this way. You guys should still be seeing my screen now. It's actually on the YouTube chat. I'm going to have to just go back and forth, which is kind of frustrating. I can't just keep it on the MLB game day the whole time. This is where if my second monitor was working, it would be a lot easier. But unfortunately, right now, this is kind of what we're working with. But I appreciate you joining, Nico. Good to have you, my man. And let's see how this game goes. But Holmes ends up issuing a walk to Caminero there. So we got another runner aboard here. I'm sorry, that's ball 3. So we have a 3-2 count. Because I'm watching on game day, and then I'm also watching on MLB TV on my television. And this is always about a pitch behind game day, which is terribly annoying. But unfortunately, we can't broadcast the game on YouTube. That's illegal. So I can't put the actual game feed on, but we can chat it up in here. So 3-2 count here from Holmes to Caminero. Pitch on the way and loses his bat as he fouls it back behind home plate. Caminero taking a healthy hack there. Goes to retrieve his lumber. It's the bat boy that hands it off over to him. Caminero 0 for 1 here in this game and ends up drawing a walk, which hasn't happened on my TV yet, but it did happen on game day. So we already kind of know what's going to happen. So it's a walk to Caminero. And so after the leadoff home run to Aranda, a walk issued by Holmes here in the top of the 4th. Holmes has been pretty solid lately. Obviously pitched his last time out against the Rockies. That one was up and in. Jeesh. Caminero had to jackknife out of the way to avoid getting hit by that one on the dome. He takes his equipment off and will take a nice little leisurely jog down to first base. 58 pitches here right now for Holmes with no outs in the 4th. It's only 1-0, only the solo shot. So, I mean, no, I'm not totally worried. Jake Mangum, former Mets prospect, 301 average, but an OPS below 700. That's not really going to play. I'm a big batting average guy, but you got to have like a quality OPS. Running is Caminero on the second pitch, and it is perfectly done by Alvarez as he pops out of his squat. Beautiful throw on down. Luis Torrens approves, and the Mets catchers continue to keep the opponent's running game at bay. I don't know what the numbers are, but man, couldn't ask for a better pitch to throw on. That was a hit and run. It had to have been a hit and run because that ball was at Magnum's eyes. He still swung, and it was a poor jump from Caminero. He was out by like 5 feet. So I'm thinking that was probably a hit and run sign that Kevin Cash put on for him. Nico, do you get made fun of for being a Mets fan like I do? Yeah, my whole life growing up, of course. Like, it's hard to defend yourself as a Mets fan in general, but especially when I was younger. I'm 30, but growing up during the Wilpon era and all the LOL Mets moments that they had over the years, yes, I always got made fun of for being a Mets fan, but I've always said it builds character, man. It builds character. And if you can accept these, follies that the Mets always seem to have, that's just kind of part of their DNA, and you can, not let it bother you, then whatever. And plus, I think it's made me a little funnier because unfortunately, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So there's a lot of crying too, though, being a Mets fan. But if they're doing that to you too, Nico, you tell them blah, 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 and you just forget about it. And then when they're not looking, you can go cry because that's usually how I handled it. So, that was a pretty big play there by Alvarez throwing out Caminero there because otherwise the Mets are looking at runner at second, nobody out in the 4th. 2-2 to Magnum. Let's see here. Go to the kick change. No, goes with the high heat, and Magnum goes chasing as he is down on strikes for the second out in the inning. So after the leadoff homer to Aranda, Caminero gets a walk and then thrown out trying to steal second, followed by the strikeout from Magnum. And now Holmes is pretty much right back on track. That was an ugly hack from magnum on that first pitch. It was clearly a hit and run. He went up above his shoulders to try and hit that pitch, and he just couldn't get it done. Pretty dated, thing. Hit and run. You don't see it much anymore, especially from American League teams, although there's really no American League and National League strategy difference anymore with there being league-wide DHs. But Nico, you're 12. Okay, cool, man. When I wear my Mets hat to school, I almost always get made fun of. I've gotten used to it. Well, I mean, dude, you're growing up in a much better era of Mets baseball than I did when I was 12. So I don't know where you live. If it's in New York, you obviously have a lot of Mets fans to help back you up. But when I was around that age, that's when I moved to Los Angeles. And so I still wore all my Mets gear all the time. And let me tell you, man, it was tough, okay? The Dodgers weren't what they are right now, but they were always a good team. And that was never fun when I'd get made fun of for being a Mets fan. But you're growing up in a much better era of Mets baseball with Steve Cohen as the owner. So trust me, they can make fun of you all they want. Well, guess what? They look like they are going to be one of the top organizations for many, many years to come. So don't let it bother you, dude. We get one World Series, and you can talk all the ish that you want to your buddies or whoever's making fun of you. So hang in there, Nico. That's really cool, though, man. I'm glad that you joined the chat here. 1-0 Mets, or Rays leading the Mets, and it looks like Clay Holmes puts the inning to bed. Yeah, got to called strike 3 on Caballero, and that will do it. So Mets coming up here. They got the heart of the order: Nimmo, Soto, and Alonso. All three of those guys punched out in the first inning by Bradley as he was able to escape that jam with Lindor on first to lead off the game. So let's see if the Mets offense could get anything going. Bottom 4 here. Nico, that's really cool, man. How long have you been a Mets fan? I guess your entire life, right? So what made you become a Mets fan? Were your parents Mets fans, your family? What made you become a Mets fan? And do you play ball? Because I played a lot of baseball. I played through junior college. I wish I was still playing. I play softball. It's not exactly the same. But let's go back over here now. So let's check on some of the other scores around the National League East. The Phillies are leading the Blue Jays 4-0. They actually lost 2 out of 3 to the Jays last week, so Phillies are probably looking for some payback there. In our NL East rivalry tonight, we got the Marlins and the Nationals. The Marlins currently leading the Nats 6-2 in the 4th inning, and the Braves trailing the Rockies right now 2-1, but that one I believe is in Atlanta. Yes, it is. And so the Braves actually have first and second with nobody out. There's absolutely no way I don't see the Braves completely dominating and sweeping the Rockies out of Atlanta. And if they don't, there's some serious problems in the ATL, which I don't care. I am happy to see the Braves struggle. Just let them continue to get buried. They are 29-38. 9 games under 500. I thought the Braves would take a step back this year. I did not think that they'd be 9 games under 500 at this point in the season. But you ain't going to hear me complaining about it. That is fine by me. The Braves, you were talking about it, Nico, getting made fun of as a Mets fan. I never got made fun of because I've never actually met a Braves fan in real life, but they have given me more pain over my 30 years of being a baseball fan than probably any other team in my life. Phillies are up there, Dodgers, a little bit from the Yankees, but the Braves, I would have to say, probably the opposing team that has inflicted the most pain on me as a Mets fan growing up. All right, bottom 4, heart of the order. I'm going to put the food down for my dog Mookie. That's right, named after Mookie Wilson. So let me just go do that real quick. Hang tight, we'll be right back. Nimmo, very uncharacteristically, first pitch swinging to lead off the 4th and grounds out to first base. Okay. Interesting, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. But 1 down, that brings up Soto, who has been so much better. I mean, it has been a joy to watch Juan Soto lately. I feel like confidence in him that I did not feel in him the first 2 months of the season. Don't love that he's been showing for bunt a lot lately like he did right there. And they hammer him with first pitch strikes because they know how patient Soto is. have seen a little bit more aggressiveness from Soto swinging at first pitches and earlier in the count. But it's almost like they know he's probably going to take it, and they're basically stealing a strike from him. So I'd like to see him get even more aggressive. 13 homers on the year, though. I mean, dude, 6 to the pull side, 3 to center field, and 4 opposite field. The dude is just a hitting machine. Absolutely insane. So crazy. 1-1 to Soto. Chop to the right side, over to field. And Bradley off the glove. He tries to recover, but he can't, and Soto will be on. Wow. Interesting play there from Bradley. He maybe, I wouldn't say was nonchalant about it, but he had more time probably than he anticipated on that one. He could have probably went down to hand and the glove and the hand and went 2 hands and made an easier feed. I mean, Soto spiked the bat. He was frustrated. Yeah, he just took his eye off it, basically rushed that one. All right, but hey, you know what? I don't care. I'll take it how we can get it. All right, I'm back on the stream here so you guys so I can take a look at this. All right, so Nico, you live in Maine. You've been a Mets fan your whole life. Your friends are Red Sox fans. Yeah, I get that because they haven't been the best record in baseball. I watched the highlights with my grandpa because he's a huge Mets fan. That's what made me one. And let's see, Red Sox fans give me the most trash talk. Dude, I mean, unfortunately, all the Red Sox fans that you're growing up with right now pretty much have already seen a World Series in their lifetime. But you could always pull the 1986 card. And they probably won't understand it because that's so long ago. Even I wasn't alive for that. But their parents will probably know it if they're also Red Sox fans. And it'll dig at them a little bit. But we don't have a rivalry with Red Sox fans, really. I mean, it's one of those things. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So we don't like Yankees. They don't like the Yankees. So we have a little mute. Whoa, okay. That one got in and tight on Pete Alonso as he loses the helmet. Don't love that. That is one thing that I would really like to see the Mets do here soon. The Mets have been hit the most in baseball this season. They've been the top team getting hit in baseball or among the top teams over the last several years. Even Ron Darling just said it on the broadcast the other day that he, as a former player, watches the Mets get hit so often, and it's hard for him to just stand by idly as a broadcaster now. I'm not insisting on the Mets throwing at people's heads, but maybe a little chin music, maybe something to back these guys off from throwing at the Mets all the time. Oh, is it fair? Oh, it is. Let's go. Pete hooking one down the left field line, just barely fair, but I don't know. They might review that. Is fair foul calls reviewable? I don't even know what is anymore because I've learned like 4 different plays this year that are not reviewable. Let's see the replay, but honestly, on the angle I just saw, it looked like it might have been foul. Let's see. Is there chalk? Just a little bit of chalk on there? Okay. Well, I'll take it. Yup, it hit. Oh my gosh. You're talking about millimeters, not even inches, millimeters of staying fair as he just hits the edge of that line, and the Mets are in business. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And who is it due up now? Jeff McNeil. I mean, hottest hitter in the lineup right now, baby. You love it. You love to see it. I did not think that ball was staying fair. He reached out and just kind of pulled that one. James Lee, what's up, my man? Appreciate you hopping in. I picked the Red Sox over the Yankees, coming from a New Yorker. F the Braves and the Filthies, of course. All day, every day. Nothing changes about that ever. I root against the Yankees all the time. I will admit, though, in last year's World Series, if it wasn't going to be the World Series being canceled, which would have been my first choice, I was rooting for the Yankees over the Dodgers. Because at that point, I got to go to New York, and because the Dodger fans are the absolute worst people to walk this earth. Absolutely horrible, horrible fans. Hate everything about the Dodgers. So, yeah, I had to root for the Yankees last year. But I will say, at least the Yankees did lose the World Series, so that was also kind of nice. But, all right, Jeff McNeil here. 0 for 1 with the ground out. First pitch here from Bradley on the way. Low. 2nd and 3rd. This inning started with a Nimmo ground out. Then Juan Soto chopped one to the right side. Bradley couldn't field it properly off the mound. Soto reached on the error. And then Pete Alonso with a 1-out double to make it 2nd and 3rd and bring up McNeil with 2 in scoring position. 1-0 from Bradley. That one is high, and it's 2-0 now to McNeil, who's been red hot. The OPS sitting at 903 now on the season. 3-run homer yesterday, a 2-home run game in the series finale on Sunday against the Rockies. So let's see if the squirrel can keep it going. I've said some bad things about Jeff in the past. I got to be honest, okay? I was never the biggest fan, but he's turned it on lately. 2-0 pitches right down the middle, fouled back, and it's 2-1. Jeff's been saying that the big thing that he has been doing now, instead of trying to just go with the ball, which is kind of how you want to teach players how to hit growing up. When they changed the shift rules 2 years ago, that really took away from Jeff's game. And now he's just trying to hit the ball as hard as he can, literally. And sometimes it's as simplistic as that. Get a good pitch to hit it as hard as you can. 2-1 pitch. Ooh, just a bit high and away. And McNeil runs it to 3-1 now. So let's see what Bradley goes to here. That curveball is pretty devastating. Marte is on deck. Super surprising to see Marte get the start today with a righty on the mound. I would have thought Beatty would have been at second base or DHing. 3-1. Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded for the Mets here in the bottom of the 4th. Let's go. We are cooking, baby. We are cooking. Mets looking to get those runs right back. Let's see. Nico says, I went to the last game of the Mets and Red Sox series. Oh, my God. It was electric. I hate the Braves and the Filthies. James says, I can't go Yankees ever. Their fans are just like Boston. Just talk about how much they have won. Who's your favorite player? Nico says, mine's Pete. He's a first baseman, and I'm a first baseman. I was a first baseman growing up, too. So I love Pete, but it's hard for me to say anybody except Francisco Lindor. I mean, he is just killing it. But Pete's right there, too. Plus, he's homegrown since 2019. So it's really like 1A and 1B for me with those two. And then it's like, how could you also not love Brandon Nimmo, who's been in the organization since 2011? So 1-0 pitch here to Starling Marte. Bradley delivers. Oh, and he uncorks one. And the catcher just barely able to hold on to that and keep it in front. Danny Jensen with his most acrobatic move. That was looking like it was going to the backstop and bringing in Soto to tie this ball game up. But Bradley looks a little rattled right now. That is like the second or third pitch this inning that he is totally uncorked. The one that almost hit Pete in the head. There was a ball, I believe, to McNeil that was way out, and now that one to Marte. 2-0 count. Here's the pitch. Right back up the middle, off Bradley's leg to the left side, picked up and let go again by the shortstop, and the Mets have tied the ball game. Everybody is safe. What is going on? This game is drunk. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? He might be hurt after that. He took that one right off the ankle. That is like, you see that in MLB The Show. If you play The Show, and I do sometimes, when you play The Show and that happens, you're always like, oh my God, why did this never happens in real life? And it happens seemingly twice a game in MLB The Show. Now I guess we have some definitive proof that this does sometimes happen. Ouch. Okay, so that hit him on his right ankle, the outside of his right ankle, directly on a line. It didn't even bounce off the ground. And then it was, who's that? Caminero, the shortstop, who was able to get to it. He wasn't going to have a play anywhere no matter what. And then he tries to throw and it just goes wild. But, I mean, it's a nice little break for the Mets. Haven't even, other than Pete, hit the ball out of the infield. They score a run and they have the bases loaded with nobody out. So now the question is Bradley going to continue? He's shaking his head yes to the trainer like he's fine. But honestly, he looks rattled right now. And getting hit by a line drive like that off the foot, probably not going to help him. James says, you're talking about the Boston Celtics, not the Sox. Oh, okay. We got to re-sign Pete. Yeah, I am hoping that, honestly, at the All-Star break, the deadline at time, that the Mets sit down with Pete and with Scott Boras and say, look, you have the opt-out for this year. You're probably going to exercise it. Let's tack on some money to that, plus 4 more years, something like that. Get a deal done. That would be, I think, an amazing way to go about this. You know, take advantage of having that extra opt-out that Pete's likely going to exercise this offseason and see if you could turn it into an extension for another 4 extra years after that. So that's what I would like to do. 1-0 pitch to Tyrone Taylor here. Let's see. Hit to the left side. Oh, nice play by Caminero. Throws to second for the out there. The relay back to first, not in time. All right, we'll take it. So Caballero with a nice diving play that robs Tyrone Taylor of a 2-run single, but he will get the RBI there on the fielder's choice as the Mets will go out ahead to a 2-1 lead. Mendy in the dugout looks upset about something. I'm not sure. Wow, Taylor roped that ball, but great play by Caballero. But Tyrone Taylor's speed just too much to double them up. So the Mets take the lead, 2-1. Runners on the corner still with 2 outs for Ronnie Mauricio, his first game back at Citi Field since 2023. See if he could get a little home cooking going here. Bradley needed that one, but that ball was scorched. Again, I go back to saying Tyrone Taylor always seeming to do something to help this team win. Makes a nice catch in the 3rd inning. Now here gets robbed of a 2-run single, but still produces by using his speed to beat out the double play. And the Mets out to a 2-1 lead now here in the bottom of the 4th, responding right back with some runs of their own. 0-1 pitch to Mauricio now. Curveball low. So here's how it all started. That play from Bradley on Soto with 1 out. It was a 2-hopper that he was running toward down the first base line. Looked like he took his eye off it a little bit. Couldn't recover. Soto's on first. Pete Alonso's double. And then a walk to McNeil to get the bases juiced. Marte with the line drive single off of Bradley's ankle. And then Tyrone Taylor scorching that ball to the left side. Caballero able to save Bradley's bacon there and get an out on the play. Otherwise, we're looking at a 2-run single, 1st and 3rd or 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and the Mets leading 3-1. But Mauricio still a chance to bring home another run for the Mets. 1-2 count now from Bradley as he gets set and ready to deliver. Ooh, okay, that was a nice, that was a nasty curveball, but Mauricio able to lay back on it, and it looked like he was about to keep that fair as he slapped it the other way toward left field, but a foul ball, so we'll do it again on 1 and 2. At some point here, would be nice to see Mauricio have a big hit. He had that homer in Colorado when the game was already out of hand, but let's see here on 1 and 2 again. No, chases the curveball low, and that'll end the inning. But the Mets strike for 2. They reclaim the lead in this one. Couple hits in the inning, aided by an error, and a ball off of Bradley's ankle. I mean, pretty weird way for it all to go down, but you make no apologies for it. So happy about that. All right, I'm going to make some adjustments here to the stream real quick. You guys are going to be seeing me on both screens here for a moment while I turn on my other microphone. Mic check 1 2. Nope, that's not working. Is it working through here? It should be through here, right? We're good. Everyone can hear me. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me, as I'm going to have to plug in the charger on my laptop and disconnect my regular microphone here. So let me know if you guys can hear me, and hopefully it's not too terrible of audio quality through my laptop instead of through my microphone there. But as we go back to this, here we go. All right, perfect. Let's see. All right, James says the Mets should pay Boris and get the pitching lab information to the rest of the team. Pete's been killing it, man. Pete's absolutely on fire. He's having an MVP-like season. You know, we always are talking about how Lindor is you hear an echo. Yeah, it's an echo. It's probably partly because of the place I live in, really high ceilings, but I don't know. Is it like so bad that you can't hear me well at all? Because if that's the case, I'll make some adjustments here and I'll change something up. It'll just take me a minute, but definitely let me know. Yeah, Pete is killing it. Pete is 9 away from passing Darryl Strawberry at this point on the Mets all-time home run list. And I mean, 63, 64 RBIs already, and we're like 70 games into the season, not even 68 games into the season. It's just been unreal what Pete Alonso has been doing so far this season. So I would love to have him back. I'd love to have him as a Met for life. I'll be honest, coming off of last year, before the home run against the Brewers, I thought that it was just not a good match anymore. I thought it'd probably be in best teams' both interests to go different ways. That October seems to have changed everything with Pete Alonso, and I would love to see him be a Met for life. See him go down as a Met lifer that never wore another uniform. There's only so many of those in Mets history, and honestly, really only one prominent one, and it's David Wright. I mean, not even Tom Seaver. Obviously not anyone from the 86 team, with Strawberry leaving and with Gooden leaving and Keith Hernandez beginning his career with St. Louis. So David Wright's really the only one, and of course it's sad how his career ended up being derailed because of the injuries. As Lowe, Meissner lines that one into right field. Soto able to make the shoestring catch for the first out. So Holmes back out there. 1 out in the 5th now at 71 pitches. On target to at least go 6 in this one, as long as he, has a pretty easy 6th inning or 5th inning here. So Mets pitching just continued to do its job. Mets starters came into today with the number 1 staff ERA in all of baseball, 2.8. It's like a full run better than the next place, which is 3.84 with the Padres or something. That's also including the bullpen as well. Mets bullpen has been a little worrisome here and there. Last night afternoon was a little scary there with Ryan Stanek and Diaz in the 9th inning for sure. But overall, more often than not, this starting pitching rotation and the bullpen has given the Mets a good chance to win just about every single game this year. So Holmes falls behind 2-1 on Jansen. Let me go back to the chat here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's a little quiet, but it's fine. I can still hear you. Okay, cool, man. I appreciate that. My grandpa told me that Darryl Strawberry said that leaving the Mets was the biggest regret of his career. Yeah, that's what Darryl says. Darryl grew up in Los Angeles, and so he ended up leaving to sign with the Dodgers after 1991. And he's on record. He said it many, many times that leaving the Mets was the biggest regret of his career. And I believe there were a couple reasons he has cited. Number one, his career did not exactly continue on that same trajectory as it was when he was with the Mets. And then I think he also fell into even worse things off the field after leaving the Mets than he already was kind of involved in while still in the orange and blue. But super cool story. It's a redemption story for Straw, too. Now he basically runs a church out in St. Louis where he lives with his wife. And he's been clean and sober for a very, very long time. And he's an active part of the Mets, Ring of Honor, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, his number's retired, but he's still regularly at games and making appearances and doing all that stuff. So Strawberry's still a very, very beloved figure in Mets lore. So love to see it, and hoping that it's going to be the case for Pete many years from now. After he's the all-time home run leader in franchise history, he'll probably be the all-time RBI leader and almost any other category offensively that has to do with power and driving in runs. So 2 outs now here for Holmes. 1-0 pitch to Lowe is swung on and missed, and it evens things up. Oh, they're showing the Lindor Grand Slam in the NLDS against the Phillies last year. That might have been one of the greatest moments for me as a Mets fan. I mean, it can't be the greatest, but it's up there. It's up there for sure. If I go through my whole brain, there's more. This one swung on and hit deep to right field, chasing Soto back to the warning track, but he has room a step in front of the fence and makes the catch to retire the side here in the 5th. A long fly ball out, but a scoreless inning for Holmes as the Mets go to the bottom half of the inning with a 2-1 lead. I mean, I've only done a little bit of play-by-play in my life, but Steve Gelbs has really got to get some more practice. I can't listen to him. That's why I'm doing the stream right now. Let's see. Nico, man, this is really cool. 12 years old, man. Impressive. Very impressive on your end, dude. Let's see. James, also don't say your age online. There's a lot. Yeah, do be careful about that. Do be careful. But I think this is a safe space. We're all just baseball fans. But definitely do be careful about anything online, for sure. For sure. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. I think he's a good sideline guy. He's just not a play-by-play guy. I don't think he ever really had experience doing play-by-play. And it's cool that he gets the opportunity to do it and all that stuff. But it is just like being a minor league baseball player. You go through the minor leagues. You go to places throughout this country that you would never, ever believe you were going to go. But that's how you work your way up to becoming a major league play-by-play guy, whether it's on TV or whether it's on the radio. That's why, as I told you yesterday, James, I'm living in Lincoln, Nebraska right now because I was serving as the sports anchor for ABC. I never thought I'd live in Nebraska. But my point is, he came up as a sideline reporter, and I just don't think he has enough practice as a play-by-play guy at this point. So I'm not into tearing people down, but I will just say that he needs a little bit more work. But what's going on with you guys? Fun Friday night plans? Me, I'm watching the Mets. I got Mookie barking in the background over here. I want to replug the mic in a second here, and hopefully that will give you better quality. So hang on tight there for a moment while we work on this. But wow. Okay, so I just said a few minutes ago that the Braves had first and second, nobody out, trailing the Rockies 2-1 at home. They're 9 games under 500, and they're now instead losing 4-1 to the Rockies. So, whoa. Things are going pretty bad in Atlanta. Fine by me. Kyle Schwarber, 3-run homer. Phillies are leading 5-0. Schwarber, I think, has the second most home runs in the National League with 22, but still not afraid of the Phillies at all. I'm sorry. They're such a just one-dimensional team. If they hit a bunch of home runs, they have a chance to win, but I just don't think their pitching is all that great, and they don't play good defense, so it's boom or bust for them. Francisco Alvarez up to bat, working a 3-0 count here. Phillies are 5.5 games behind the Mets right now. They're 3-7 over their last 10. The whole National League East, oof, it has been a rough 10 days for all those other teams. The Phillies 3-7 in their last 10. The Mets, I think it was 8-2, and the rest 2-8. Nationals, Marlins, and Braves all 2-8 in their last 10. Rough. Leadoff walk for Francisco Alvarez. Bro, I keep pressing send when I'm trying to press delete. What are you trying to unsend and delete? Yeah, I mean, that Pete Alonso home run, just unbelievable. Like, from the depths of despair, considering how his season went last year, to dropping the fly ball in the bottom of the 8th inning that was in foul territory. You literally can see Brewers fans behind him sitting in their seats like pointing and laughing. And then for him to come up and hit a go-ahead 3-run homer, just iconic. Iconic. One of the biggest home runs in Mets history. You know, unfortunately, it doesn't obviously go down as like the top, or probably not even top 5, because the Mets don't win the World Series and don't even get to the World Series last year, but iconic moment. And it seems like it's totally unlocked him going through the rest of that playoff series. Homers in the Phillies with the NLDS, and then against the Dodgers in the NLCS. And obviously now what Pete Alonso is doing right now, it's almost like all the weight had been taken off his shoulders with one swing of the bat from Pete. 3-0 count to Lindor. So back, oh, that was a little inside blue. I think you were just giving him that one. Mendy's been arguing a lot of balls and strikes. You see him shaking his head in the dugout right now. That was borderline, but it was definitely a ball, and if it's not 3-0, he's probably not getting that call. Back-to-back 3-0 counts, though, from Bradley. Here's the 3-1. Lindor swings through a fastball right down the middle, and it's now full. Alvarez at first drew the leadoff walk to begin the inning. Lindor 3-2 count with Nimmo waiting on deck, sledgehammer in hand. Let's see, Lindor asks for time. I wonder what he's going to get here. He's seen the curveball already now. He's 1 for 2. He had the base hit to lead off this game in the first. You're not going to send Alvarez, I wouldn't think. But maybe on a 3-2 count, maybe? He doesn't have much of a lead. I don't think so. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fastball on the inner half of the plate, and Lindor able to waste it away as it goes back behind the screen. I don't know if I should be doing like more play-by-play for you guys, or more like I don't know, what do you call it? Like just commentating. I'm trying to keep going back and forth between the YouTube stream so I can look at the chat and the game day here, because otherwise you're just looking at the stream, and I want you to be able to see all this stuff. You're probably watching the game too. Lindor pops this one on the left side of the infield. Jansen hoping for a play, but it'll get back into the seats, and we'll do it again. 3-2. Danny Jansen, so you probably heard it on the broadcast, but he made Major League history last year. First player to ever play in the same game for two different teams. So last year he began the season with the Toronto Blue Jays. They were playing the Boston Red Sox in a game. Jansen the game was suspended, picked up 2 months later, and by that time Jansen had been traded to Boston and played in that same game for Boston. So pretty insane little MLB thing. You could tell everyone about that one, Nico. I bet you Red Sox fans don't even know that one. So that's pretty cool. Lindor fouls that one off his foot, and he's taking a little walk around home plate now, trying to shake it off. Let's see where it got him. He has the shin guard on, but it hit the shin guard. He should be okay. I think it's I can't remember which toe he broke. I think it was he's a lefty. I think it was his left toe, because it hit his back foot when he was playing the Dodgers, and he broke that toe. So I believe it's his left big toe, and that ball was fouled off his right shin guard, so it shouldn't be an issue anyway, but obviously cannot afford to lose Francisco Lindor for any period of time. All right, 3-2 again from Bradley. Fastball, another wasted pitch from Lindor, and the battle continues. I'm trying not to look at okay, well, now I looked at it. He drew a walk. Okay, Lindor gets a walk. Now it's first and second. I hate that the TV stream is a little bit behind, because I want this to all be at the same time, or even better, if I could just broadcast the game on here for you guys, it would be perfect. But again, illegal, so I'm not going to be doing that. But it is a, 11-pitch walk there for Francisco Lindor. Very nicely done. And first two runners of the inning are aboard via free pass for Brandon Nimmo now. So Mets 2-1 lead. The 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up. Let's see what they can do. Nimmo's been red hot lately too. 2 home runs on Wednesday and then another one yesterday. He changes this entire lineup. If Brandon Nimmo gets going the way that we know he can, and he's hitting in that 2-hole where he seems the most comfortable, this is a completely different lineup. Average is up to 239, 751 OPS, 13 homers for Nims this year. I mean, he's got a chance to get 30 at this point. I mean, that would be amazing. That would clearly be the most in his career. Swung through a first pitch curveball. Here's the 0-1. Swinging again and fouls that one back, and he's quickly down 0-2. So let's see, the Rays have the fewest walks issued per 9 innings pitched this year at 2.63. So pretty telling, because Bradley has walked, I believe, 3 now in this game. So 0-2 to Nimmo. Curveball in the dirt, nicely handled by Jansen behind the plate, and the runners will stay put. Lindor leading from first, Alvarez at second, both of them reaching via walk, and now Nimmo looking to pass the baton or even drive in a runner to himself here. Let's see if he goes back to another curveball. I wouldn't be surprised. 1-2 to Nimmo now. Bradley looks back at Alvarez at second. Now the delivery, and it's a fastball that Nimmo's able to just barely get a piece of and waste it away, and it's still 1-2. Nimmo just smelled his bat. I've seen him do that a lot, and it's really weird. I don't know why he does that. I know that's like an old baseball superstition, but let's see. Nico, the only team I'm afraid of is the Tigers, but they are in the American League. I'm not really worried about the Tigers for a few reasons. Main reason, like you said, Nico, they're in the American League, so like worst comes to worst. If the Mets meet the Tigers, it'll be in the World Series, okay? So at that point, you're in the World Series. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. Like they got the best record in the American League, but I'm not totally sold on them yet, even though I know they had that great second half last year and everything. 2-2, curveball ground to the right side, handled. No, the first baseman can't pick it up, and everybody's safe. Oh, it's another comedy of errors for the Rays infield. They've been booting balls around all evening so far. Aranda, quick to pounce on that one. He rises before it was in his glove. and everybody is safe. The bases are loaded with nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth for the Mets. What is going on with this Rays defense? I mean, this has just been a weird game. Like, the ball getting hit off Bradley's ankle. It ends up deflecting to the shortstop, who tries to throw somebody out. He loses the grip. Bradley earlier in the game can't field Soto's ground ball down the first baseline. And now Aranda unable to handle that one. It'll be another error. So 2 on the game and back-to-back innings now for Tampa. And the Mets are set up with the bases drunk and nobody out. Wow. And guess who's coming to the plate? Juan Soto. All right. Let's see it, big dog. Let's see what you got here, kid. First pitch low, 1-0. We'll take it. Yeah, that catch from Tyrone Taylor yesterday was insane. I mean, that was nuts. That's like fully horizontal, diving toward the wall and on the warning track. That is like putting your body on the line. Because if you don't know how close you are to that wall and you actually hit it with your head or shoulder area, that can be very dangerous. So full credit to Tyrone Taylor on that catch yesterday. All right, 1-0 to Soto. Let's see what he does here. Bradley, you don't want any part of this guy. Oh, yeah, give me a shuffle. No, come on. Give us a shuffle, Soto. Give us a shuffle. I want the Soto shuffle. We've seen a little bit more of it lately, but I want it all. I want it all the time. All right, 2-0. See if he gets anything to hit here. 2-0 pitch. High, and it's 3-0. All right, well, as much as I would like to give him the green light here, I don't think I'm going to. Not with Alonso on deck, bases loaded, nobody out. I think Soto's got to take. I think he's going to get a fastball right down the middle. I still think he's taking all the way. Here it is. Wow, Bradley's lost it. Ball 4. Third walk of the inning. His second 4-pitch walk, and this one brings in a run as the Mets go out 3-1, and that's going to be it for Bradley, as Kevin Cash will come out of the dugout and go to his right-hander in the bullpen. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. Visit Nissan. I don't know. Jeez, that guy seemed rattled. He looked pretty solid that first inning. He struck out 3 guys, Nimmo, Soto, and Alonso, all with his curveball. He had a clean second inning. He gave up a base hit, then he got a double play. And then the third inning, I believe, was pretty ho-hum as well. And then it just seems like that fourth inning completely rattled Bradley, even before getting hit on the ankle with that pitch, with that hit from Marte. But right there, here in the fifth now, he's walked 3 guys, 2 of them on 4 pitches, and walks in a run there, and that spells the end of his day. Still responsible for all 3 runners on base. Here comes former Mets prospect Eric Ortze. So here is Ortze's numbers, and I believe this is who the Mets traded to Tampa Bay for Jose Siri this offseason. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but whoa, he's got pretty good numbers. 1.37 ERA in 26 and 1/3 innings, 23 strikeouts. Let's see. I don't remember. I think he pitched a little bit with the Mets last year, right? I think he did. Yeah, last year he only pitched in 2 games. And, yeah, that ERA, not pretty. It's not very true, obviously. 1.2 innings pitched. He gave up 4 earned. So, obviously, ERA is going to be insane. But, yeah, I am pretty sure this was who the Mets traded for Jose Siri. That is correct. Yeah. So far, I mean, Tampa Bay is clearly winning this trade for Ortze because Jose Siri is not really played at all for them this year. When he did play, he was terrible, and we just learned today from David Stearns that Siri had a setback in his rehab and has been shut down from baseball activities. So it doesn't sound like Jose Siri is going to be coming back as soon as we thought he might be, which stinks. Would like to see what Siri has. I believe he's under contract for next year as well. So we're stuck with him. But Tyrone Taylor's been doing a tremendous job in center field anyway. So it's not like we're losing anything at all. Let's see. Nico says, I was watching the game with my grandpa and we were shocked. You're talking about the Pete Alonso home run, right? Yeah. I mean, that was just insane. Do you think it was smart to get rid of Adrian Hauser last year? Honestly, he was pitching so poorly that the Mets really had no choice. But, he's been pretty solid now here for the White Sox, and he absolutely shoved against the Mets 2 weeks ago. But I don't think it's a bad thing, that the Mets let him go. Even if he's having this success with Chicago now, Good for him. He wouldn't have even cut it out for our rotation at this point, I don't think. Here comes Pete, 1-0. Oh, Pete goes chasing a changeup. Oh, that was 2-0, man. 1-1 instead now, the count for Pete. All right. And another one up and in on Pete Alonso. The Mets need to hit somebody already. That's it. I am making a full declaration. I am commissioning a Mets pitcher to hit an opponent. Please. This is getting ridiculous how close up and in they throw at the Mets. Honestly, all the time. 2-1. Here we go, Pete. Let's go, baby. Bases juice, nobody out. Come on, Pete. Oh, fouls that back. Yeah, he did. That looked like it was a cutter. 89 mile per hour cutter. Pete looks so locked in right now, man. He looks scary, right? Pete is just in another universe right now, and I am here for it. 2-2 pitch here. Let's see what he gets. Another cutter. Fouls that one down in the dirt. Stays 2-2. So he likes his cutter, that's for sure. Ugh. Well, game day just ruined it for me. Pete strikes out. I haven't seen the pitch yet, but it's about to come up now. So that's annoying. But Pete ends up striking out. That one's tough. Oh, you're talking about the Tyrone Taylor catch. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. I thought you were talking about the Pete Homer from last year in the playoffs. Yeah, that Tyrone Taylor catch was ridiculous. Pete chases on the high fastball. He's down on strikes for the first out of the inning. That's not the best at bat we've seen from Pete Alonso. He's chased on 2 different pitches in that one. That would have been balls. The 1-0 pitch was a change up in the dirt, and then strike 3 right there. He goes above the letters. Just a little too psyched for that one, I think. Bases loaded, nobody out. I think he was just a little too pumped for that one. Oh, Ortze doesn't make eye contact with McNeil in the box. That's a warning. Do it again, and it's a pitch clock violation. First pitch is low and in on McNeil. And the second pitch, okay, they're so behind. 0-1 on McNeil. What is going on with this? I can't even keep track. Between game day, between the broadcast that's behind, it's just all over the place. Oh, my goodness. Nico, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're watching a lot of baseball with your grandpa. I wish my grandpa was still around. He used to send me all the newspapers about the Mets with all the clippings of the articles and stuff like that. So it's really cool. You get to do that with your grandpa, man. Really cool. All right, 1-1 now. And I think what we're going to do here after the bottom of the 5th right now is I'm going to pause because I'm going to start getting ready for my post-game stream, which will also be right here on my channel. And that will have all the highlights and everything else. So I think it'll be really, oh no, McNeil popping one out to left field. That's not going to do the trick. Not with Soto on. Really nobody scoring on that. That could be tough for the Mets to not score another run here. This could be really tough. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Pete strikes out. McNeil hits a lazy fly ball to left, and now Mets are on the verge of potentially stranding all 3 runners aboard. Pete just said, F me. I could read his lips in the dugout. Oh, boy. They need a hit here. They really need another run here, at least one more. You feel like this is a moral victory for the Rays otherwise, you know? Whereas you take at least one more run here, and it feels like the Mets have got the momentum. But Ortze, looking pretty solid. That 1.31 ERA coming into this appearance here, not lying. He's got some decent stuff. So Marte gets credited for an RBI single, the one that hit Bradley on the ankle. Let's see if he could get another one here. 0-1 is wide, and it's even now at a ball and a strike apiece. Love seeing Marte get starts against the right-hander. He wasn't doing that earlier this year, and lately he has been, and it's been paying off. 2 for 2 tonight with the RBI. Let's see if he could cash in again here for the Mets. 1-1, bases loaded, and Marte takes a big hack and comes up empty. This is a nice curveball. Oof. Why did we trade this guy for Jose Siri? What are we doing? We could have had this guy in the bullpen too. Come on. All right, let's see. 1-2. Hey! let's go! Starling Marte getting that one through the infield on the left side. It scores 2. Marte hung up between first and second. The throw goes to first, and Marte takes second on the play. Let's go! Starling Marte with some 2-out magic. A line drive single through the left side of the infield. It scores 2. Lindor takes third. Marte was hung up between first and second, but the cutoff throw goes to first. Marte, already more than halfway to second base, just continues on and takes second base on the play. Heady running by the veteran, and the Mets are leading 5-1. Let's go. Love to see it. It was Soto who took third. Nimmo and Lindor came in to score, and Marte just followed Soto on his way to second. And just really poor defense from this Rays team so far. I mean, that will not go down as an error, but it should, as it could potentially have put an end to the inning. Instead, the Mets now with 2 more in scoring position with 2 outs for Tyrone Taylor. 0-1 pitch is high, and it's even now at 1-1. Wow, I don't know what is going on with this Rays team, but this is ugly. It's a Marte Parte. Let's go, let's go. Nico, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Long time ago, we had lots of great memories together. So think very, very fondly of him still. And so always when I'm watching the Mets especially. So you enjoy that time with your grandpa as well. But it's a Marte Parte. Let's go. 5-1 Mets. Oh, my favorite walk-off from last year. Let's see. That is a tough one. I'd have to go back into the memory bank and really see them all. But, man, which was your favorite? Let me know, because that might help me out and jog my memory a little bit. Taylor takes that one up high, and it's 2-2, and then he fouls another pitch off, which I haven't seen yet. I don't even remember. Yeah, the Alvey home run was sick, and that was a tough game. The Orioles had beaten the Mets, I believe, the day before, and it was on a kind of ugly play from Nimmo in left field. So I think that one against the Orioles was pretty sick when Alvey hit that one. All right, and Tyrone Taylor takes strike 3 called, and that ends the inning. But the Mets cash in for 3 more, so not all is lost. Starling Marte with his second RBI knock of the day. He's got 3 of their 5 driven in here today. He is 3 for 3 in this one, as the Mets are staked to a 5-1 lead. They'll send Clay Holmes back out for the 6th now. He's given up just 1 on a solo shot, coming back in the top of the 4th. Things are rolling for the Mets. What else can you say? Things are just absolutely rolling for this Mets ball club right now. You love to see it. You totally do. Before I sign off, I do want to think, what was my favorite walk-off from last season? Let's see. The homer from Alvarez was awesome. His reaction was amazing. But Winker's, yes. Okay, that actually probably is my favorite for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was kind of the first big moment that Winker had with the Mets, and he had been struggling the first 2 weeks or so that the Mets had acquired him. So that was really, really sick. And I think it just kind of jump-started the rest of his time with the Mets. So really love that Jesse Winker one. That was a really fun moment. But nothing better than when the Mets cashed in another insurance run against the Brewers in that Game 5 or Game 3, whatever it was in the NLDS or the wild card. I don't even remember the series. But then he slammed his helmet at home plate. Oh my God, inject that into my veins. That was so sick. So I know it wasn't a walk-off, but that's why we love Jesse Winker. That's why you hate him when he is on your rival's team, but you absolutely love Jesse Winker when he's wearing your team's laundry. So that's where I think I'm going to end the watch party. But I will have a post-game stream as well. James, you know all about those. Nico, be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Turn channel notifications on. I do daily Mets content. I do post-game recaps as well. So that's what we'll be doing after. Hopefully the Mets do get their 7th win in a row here, leading the Rays right now 5-1. So we will check back in immediately at the conclusion of this game. Guys, I appreciate you so much for watching. Thank you to Nico. Thank you to James. Thank you to everyone else that has been joining here throughout the stream here. And we'll get back to it here very shortly after the Mets conclude here with Tampa. So that's it for right now. I'm Tony Metro. Until later, stay true to the orange and blue.